is pretty isolated across town, but we're kind of watching a few blips, a few isolated cells beginning to fire up out there. You can see what we're dealing with in between Hatch and Las Cruces. We have that isolated storm out there. Farther up towards the north, we'll watch a little of activity in and around the Sacramento Mountains, up around Ruidoso, a little cell developing south and east of town, not really affecting the fires anymore, but all moving off towards an easterly direction. All right, so here's your high temperatures across town for today. Top number in white is your forecast high temperature. What I'm forecasting, 107 tomorrow, 101 on Thursday. The bottom number in yellow is the record highs for these dates. We're not expecting any record high temperatures. Of course, on Sunday, 114. That's the hottest it's ever been in the El Paso area in the last part of June, but we're anticipating temperatures hanging out at right around 100. So with the triple today, that gives us 18 triples on the year so far, 109 being the hottest. Got word from the National Weather Service. They updated and said they hit 108 officially for the high temperature. So we are 1 degree shy of the hottest so far this year. You folks in Las Cruces, of course, you hit a triple. You have 12 so far, and the record 2023 at 52 days. All right, so here's a look at our latest Future Track computer model. 6 o'clock tonight, we're going to have some clouds here and there, a few isolated showers and storms. You know, we can't rule out a little renegade thunderstorm to pop up, but I really think the better chance of seeing some showers and storms will arrive a little bit later in the day tomorrow. Then again, once we head to Thursday. Here's a look at lunch hour. Again, the clouds will build throughout the day, throughout the morning hours, and then we're going to be popping a few of these isolated storms. Look at here. Once we head to 5 o'clock in the afternoon, in the evening, there's some of these showers and storms that are going to develop. Some of these could be on the strong side, especially off towards our southwest. Get around just west of Luna County and portions of Chihuahua could see some activity. And then even by midnight tomorrow night and Thursday morning, again, we could be tracking a few of these isolated showers out there. Workday tomorrow, look at that. We're going to be talking about a pretty good chance of some of these showers and storms, at least a 50% chance of seeing these. Overnight tonight, we'll drop it down to 82, about a 20% chance of a thunderstorm here in El Paso tomorrow. High temperature 107. We have that 50% chance of thunderstorms. Las Cruces for you. Overnight lows down to 76. Your high temp for tomorrow, going to be another scorcher, will be right around 103, 104. First alert days tomorrow. The temperatures come down below our first alert criteria, which is 104. 101 on Thursday, 105 once we head into Friday. You'll notice it's going to be hot Saturday as well, 105, then lower 100s. But notice the chance of rain each and every day all the way through the next 7 days. You folks in Las Cruces as well, you're going to be looking at your temperatures right around 100 degrees. And your chance of rain, too, going to be lasting all the way into early next week. We'll take a break. Be back after this.
$13,000 off on a new Silverado pickup at Rudolph Chevrolet.
Start your day off right with what happened overnight, plus live coverage of breaking news and weather and traffic on the 7s.
Good morning, El Paso. The team you know,
the team you trust.
The unexpected, the unimaginable, a horrible trucking accident can leave you feeling in the dark. In the darkness of injustice, we bring hope and light. With 19 years of experience in the El Paso and Las Cruces area, we are relentless in our pursuit of justice, fighting fiercely to ensure you receive the compensation you deserve for the pain and loss caused by negligent truck drivers. Labonati Law. With every step and every fight, we bring you into the light.
Celebrate our nation's 248th birthday with Diablo Fireworks, your authorized Black Cat dealer in Texas and southern New Mexico. Come shop our 12,000 square foot warehouse for all your firework needs. Check out these super promo deals. Get Technicolor and Eager Beaver for only $289.99. Get your fireworks fix with the best in the borderland. Take a short drive to Diablo Fireworks, take exit 162, and celebrate safely this 4th of July.
The Popular Mattress Black Friday sale in July
starts now.
Queen Memory Foam only $2.99. Queen Pillow Tops starting at $3.99. And Twins from $99. Save up to $500 on Tempur-Pedic and $900 on Simmons Beauty Rest Black. Plus a free adjustable base with select purchase. Take advantage of 0 down, 0 interest for up to 60 months or no credit needed. Hurry into our biggest semi-annual sale.
It's crazy, man.
Thank you very much y muchas gracias.
Start a new career and enroll now at Southwest University. Enroll today and become a professional in nursing, x-ray, ophthalmology, business, or diesel. Southwest University offers flexible schedules and short terms for you to finish faster. Don't wait. Enroll now at Southwest University and take the next step in your professional journey today. For more information, visit us at southwestuniversity.edu. Southwest University, 25 years making you happen.
ET's Bahamas Week continues with Corinne Fox. Scoop on her upcoming I Do's.
I'm so excited. I hope we can make it down the aisle.
Plus, Sean Penn and Dakota Johnson on their new movie and real-life friendship. Next ET.
Tonight at 6:30 on ABC7. The El Paso Athletic Hall of Fame induction ceremony, a night of celebration and recognition honoring outstanding athletes in the El Paso area. Watch the inspirational live stream on the KVIA News app and KVIA.com Wednesday at 6:30. Coverage sponsored by El Paso Emergency Room.
You're watching ABC 7 at 4. Welcome back. I'm Nicole Gomez. As we've all watched the natural disaster unfold in Ruidoso last week, everyone had the desire to help the small community that has been ravaged by the wildfires. Now, as we watch the news, so did criminals who will not hesitate to exploit you and others who want to help those who are in need in Ruidoso. And joining us now to talk about the natural disaster fraud scams is Special Agent Derek Hackard. Special Agent Hackard, thanks so much for joining us. And I know the FBI is reminding the community of natural disaster and charity fraud scams that will pop up, especially right now as our community gathers donations to help those in Ruidoso. Can you talk to us about fraud schemes, especially at this time where so many people have lost so much?
Yes, thank you, Nicole. In charity fraud schemes, criminals pull on people's heartstrings in hopes of transforming their compassion into cash. But instead of using those donations to help others, the creators of these fake organizations use the funds for personal gain or for other illicit purposes. Pleas for help may come across different platforms such as email, text messages, crowdfunding sites such as GoFundMe, social media, and cold calling to solicit donations. Be careful, in addition to lining their own pockets with your generous donations, scammers may also be after your personal and financial information.
So do you have any tips for us before making financial contributions?
Yes, keep these tips in mind before making a financial contribution. First, only donate to established charities or groups whose work you know or trust. Do your research. Use the Federal Trade Commission's resources to examine the track record of a charity. If an organization has a copycat name or a name similar to a reputable group, take caution. Likewise, if a new organization claims to help victims of recent high-profile disasters, be wary. Most legitimate charity organizations end in .org rather than .com. And you also want to avoid charities that ask you to pay by cash, gift card, virtual currency, or wire transfer. We recommend paying by credit card or writing a check directly to the charity and not to an individual.
Okay, so those are simple tips to follow when donating to a charity. But what happens if a scammer gets a hold of your email address or sends you a text message? How do we handle this?
Yes, excellent question. If someone you don't know emails or texts you, don't click on any links or open any attachments they send you. You should independently verify any requests from persons or businesses that may or may not be associated with. Don't provide personal information to emails, robocalls, or robotexts. And once the rebuild starts, after any natural disaster, you want to carefully vet any contractors before hiring them to work on your home or business. We all want to help those in need. We just want to make sure your donations are going to the people in need and not to the scammers.
I totally agree with you. Now, we have to make sure the donations get into the hands of the right people. So if someone feels they have become a victim of charity fraud, what steps should they take?
Yes, please contact the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center at www.ic3.gov, or you can call our local office at 915-832-5000.
Special Agent Derek Hackard, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
We'll be right back.
ABC7's News Ticker sponsored by University Medical Center.
My sinuses were clogged, my head was throbbing, and my muscles ached. I really didn't have the energy to drive to see a physician. With University Medical Center of El Paso's telehealth services, I stayed in the comfort of my home and consulted virtually with my UMC provider. No traffic, parking, or crowded doctor's offices. Better health is a phone call away. I'm happy I called UMC.
Call us today for an appointment at 915-790-5700. At UMC, we care for El Paso.
There are trucks, and then there's the GMC Sierra, available with the connected driving experience and the world's first 6-function multi-pro tailgate. GMC Sierra. It's the truck. Get over $2,700 purchase cash on select 2024 Sierra 1500 Denali models. Plus, current eligible GMC owners get an additional $2,500 purchase allowance.
See your El Paso Las Cruces GMC dealers.
With savings this explosive, the 4th of July sale at Furniture Row is resulting in some very interesting reactions.
So that's $300 off the dining set and $800 off the sectional.
Dude. With over $500 off the bedroom and $200 off the mattress, you are saving $700 today.
Whoa! Plus, save $100 on every $1,000 you spend, or 5 years no interest. When you save this much, you'll be seeing fireworks too during the 4th of July sale on now at Furniture Row.
Hola, El Paso. Do you want a new and rewarding career in the water industry? Get trained for free. Classes are only 6 weeks and offered in the evenings. Seating is limited. Register now at sttefoundation.org/S4S.
You look good in a Nissan.
Temperatures are rising
and prices are falling. Vamos to Nissan de Las Cruces.
The deals are hot right now at your only Southern New Mexico Nissan dealer. Go electric and lease a new 2024 Nissan Leaf SV or 2023 Nissan Ariya Engage for $145 per month. Plus, ask about the Vamos Value Guarantee Package.
I'm Cliff Shimali, and our name means a great deal.
You know where to go.
Vamos to Nissan of Las Cruces.
Back. This is a live look at Atlanta, Georgia. President Biden and former President Donald Trump will face off in the first presidential debate of the 2024 general election on Thursday night. The debate, I should say, will be held in Atlanta. Well, President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump are fine-tuning their strategies for the first debate of the campaign. Again, that's going to happen this Thursday. Now, the two share a similar goal: to portray their opponent as unfit for office. MJ Lee has the latest on President Biden's debate preps.
Everybody knows he's a liar.
But you
I just
agree.
want to make sure.
Joe, you're the liar.
I want to make sure.
Graduated last in your class, not first in your class.
4 years after this contentious debate between Joe Biden and Donald Trump, featuring a torrent of insults, name-calling, and interruptions.
Why would you answer that
because
question?
The question is,
radical left.
Will you shut up, man?
Listen,
President Biden is again preparing to face off against his unpredictable predecessor on the debate stage. CNN is learning that Biden is preparing for whatever version of Donald Trump might show up Thursday night, including a potentially disciplined Donald Trump. Recreating the experience of going up against Trump, a key feature of the mock debates.
You want to find some balance between recreating the experience and not attempting to, if you will, audition for Saturday Night Live.
Top campaign aides insisting that regardless of whether the ex-president is unhinged or more demure on Thursday, there's simply no altering his record.
People are going to know that he's a twice impeached, convicted felon who's been found to have defamed somebody, sexually abused somebody, and gone bankrupt 6 times. They will always know that.
Ahead of the high-stakes debate set to unfold inside CNN's Atlanta studio, Biden hunkering down with more than a dozen of his top aides at Camp David. The campaign hoping to showcase two starkly different visions on a whole host of issues: the economy, democratic institutions, and reproductive rights.
Decades of progress shattered just because the last guy got 4 years in the White House. We know what will happen if he gets another 4. For MAGA Republicans, Roe is just the beginning.
Democrats on Monday seizing on the 2-year anniversary of the Supreme Court's overturning of Roe v. Wade and placing blame squarely at Trump's feet. A new Biden campaign ad featuring testimonial from one Louisiana woman who says she was turned away from 2 emergency rooms after a dangerous miscarriage at 11 weeks of pregnancy.
He's now a convicted felon. Trump thinks he should not be held accountable for his own criminal actions, but he will let women and doctors be punished.
Vice President Kamala Harris, who has emerged the administration's leading voice on the issue, one of many top Democrats blanketing the country today.
In the case of the stealing of reproductive freedom from the women of America, Donald Trump is guilty.
Well, it's Your Voice, Your Vote. President Joe Biden and former Trump, their debate will be center stage on Thursday, and the event will be hosted by CNN. ABC News is going to be bringing you the coverage. That's going to start at 6 p.m. Again, Thursday, we will not have a 6 p.m. show. Instead, we will have a 9 p.m. newscast in place after the debate. The debate will be from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., and you can join us for ABC 7 at 10. Well, still ahead, dangers at the beach and what to do if you know someone, see someone that's in trouble. Stay with us.
Ashley Stars and Stripes sale is going on now, and everything is on sale. Get unbelievable deals on hot buys up to 50% off. This summer, spend less and get more. Only at Ashley. Feels good to be home.
Get hot Shamali deals all month long at El Paso's Truck and SUV Center, Shamali Ford. Like 0% APR for 60 months, 0 down, no payments for 90 days, plus $4,000 off MSRP on the Explorer, Edge, and Escape. Or get $7,500 off MSRP on all new 2024 F-150 STX models in stock.
Wow, that's a hot Shamali deal.
Right on the corner, right on the price. El Paso's Truck and SUV Center.
ShamaliFord.com. See why hand battered is better with the $6 chicken basket. Our 100% white meat chicken is always just a batter dip away from becoming its own golden treasure. Batter up. Make our app your first mate and order ahead to skip the wait. Long John Silver's Fish Share.
I'm gonna be late.
Sorry.
And drive safe out there as there's plenty of traffic heading to today's big game.
You almost missed the start of the game.
Right now, qualified lessees can lease a new 2024 Tundra SR5 for $449 a month for 36 months. Offer ends July 1st.
Ashley Stars and Stripes sale is going on now, and everything is on sale. Get unbelievable deals on hot buys up to 50% off. This summer, spend less and get more. Only at Ashley. Feels good to be home.
Start your day off right with what happened overnight, plus live coverage of breaking news and weather and traffic on the 7s.
Good morning, El Paso. The team you know, the team you trust.
Live, where news comes first. This is ABC 7 with breaking news.
We are following 2 breaking news stories at this second half hour of ABC 7 at 4. About 10 minutes ago, New Mexico State Police told ABC 7 they believe a pilot died after a small plane crashed a few miles west of Chamberino. Now, the crash happened about 10 to 15 miles north of Doña Ana County International Jetport. That's where it took off, and the crash happened around 2 p.m. Officials say it was a single-seat agriculture plane on a training flight. An airport manager told our New Mexico Mobile newsroom that there was a fire. Police believe the pilot was the only person on board. ABC 7 has a crew going to the scene of the crash right now. And to more breaking news. Just moments ago, Las Cruces police just said that a 2-year-old boy drowned in a backyard swimming pool. They said it happened last night on 2nd Street. Police say the boy's parents discovered their child unresponsive in the pool. Now, the boy was taken to the hospital where he was pronounced dead. As a standard procedure, Las Cruces police are investigating to determine the circumstances that led to the drowning. Now, we brought you those breaking news stories on the KVIA News app. Just scan the QR code to download it to get notifications on your phone anytime we're following major news around the borderland. The KVIA News app is free. And if you're just joining us this afternoon, let's get you up to date on today's top stories, starting with the ABC 7 First Alert. Let's take a live look at the ABC 7 Mountain camera. A heat advisory is in effect for expected hot temperatures today. If you stepped outside, you can feel the heat. Our ABC 7 Chief Meteorologist Doppler Dave Spillman is here with your first forecast. Hi, Doppler. It's hot out there.
It is. And boy, if you folks were just working outdoors, I mean, you can testify to the heat and even some of the humidity out there, making it feel even more uncomfortable. Boy, you don't have to spend much time out there and really start sweating with that humidity in place. So yeah, 108. The high so far, 106 for you folks in Las Cruces, so it is very hot. And if you look at the temperatures area-wide and you look at the numbers, yeah, we're still dealing with a lot of folks over 100 degrees across the areas. We expand things out. We're one of the hot spots. In fact, we are the hot spot. Vegas at 104, Phoenix at 105, 101 out there in Tucson. Of course, we're 107. We have 100 out in the Texas Panhandle, Lubbock and Dallas right now at 96 degrees. So we're going to be talking about the heat, hanging around, and even going to be tracking some showers and storms. We're going to have a look at Doppler radar. A few storms are bubbling up out there. We'll have a look at that and talk about potentially how much rain we could see coming up in our latest Future Track computer model.
Well, thank you, Doppler. And remember, the cooling centers in El Paso are open Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. and on Sunday from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. There are several locations you can visit to cool off this summer. Just to name a few: the Gallatin Recreation Center, Marty Robbins Recreation Center, the city and the county. Cooling centers will be open. You can find a complete list of cooling centers at KVIE.com. And over in Las Cruces, cooling stations are also open. These centers offer temporary shelter from the heat for the elderly, other high-risk residents, and the public. The cooling stations will be open from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. through tomorrow. Some of the cooling stations or centers: Frank O'Brien Papin Community Center and the Henry R. Benavides Community Center. The Munson Center is also open as well. The full list again posted on our website at kvie.com. Now to dangers at the beach and what to do if you see someone in trouble in the water. We've seen bystanders attempt to rescue them only to get in trouble themselves. Well, ABC's Ginger Z has a demonstration of what can happen and what you should do if you want to help.
This is the first time Dennis and Shannon Kenning have come back to this beach on Lake Michigan since they lost their son, Tom, in those very waters 2 years ago. The middle school teacher, husband, and father tried to rescue a young girl he didn't even know. She was struggling in the water. She survived, and he did not.
Tom, I could tell, was contemplating what to do. He handed me his hat and his phone and started walking toward the water's edge.
We all underestimate how turbulent, how strong this really is, and it can overcome you so quickly.
It's a hidden danger we see every single summer. Parents and brave strangers attempting to rescue people out of the water, often on beaches without lifeguards. While some are successful, far too often, neither the victim nor the rescuer survive.
They might have this confidence because they know how to swim. They make that instant decision, jump in. That's unfortunately the moment when they learn that this is going to be a very difficult task to keep this person at the surface. It turns into a double drowning.
To illustrate just how difficult it can be to rescue someone from turbulent water, I team up with certified lifeguards at Scoot and Surf at the water park inside the American Dream Mall. Here, choppy waves will help simulate the chaos in the ocean or the Great Lakes. My first challenge? Rescue not a person, but this, a 10-pound rubber diving brick, which lifeguards use to test their strength and endurance. I dive in, I grab the brick, and make it back to shore. These waves are only 2 feet tall, but already it was definitely a challenge. Whew, my legs are burning. Next, we raise the bar. This time, it's 12-year-old competitive surfer Huda who's going to simulate a drowning victim, which can be dangerous to the person rescuing because victims often panic and then can drag you under. After a short break, I plunge back in. This time, it feels much more real. As soon as I take on that weight, I immediately struggle to keep my head above water. Fortunately, since this pool is shallow and I'm not fighting a rip current, I don't need to hold him up very long. If any of this looks like it was easy, it was not. And for good measure, we asked 2 volunteer dads to give both scenarios a try. Like me, Ryan successfully rescues both the brick and the drowning victim. But also like me, it was a lot harder than he thought.
Even just swimming out there, my heart rate went up. It was very, very tiring.
But watch what happens to our other volunteer, Mike. Before he even makes it to the brick, This dad of 3 signals to the lifeguards. He just can't get there.
You think you can do it, but like, the waves hitting you. And you try swimming and it's just, you feel like you're getting tired and tired. My arms were hurting. I mean, even now my heart is like boom, boom, boom. It's a lot more tiring than it looks like it would be.
And experts warned us if this were the ocean or the Great Lakes, it would be infinitely more challenging, especially because of rip currents.
In the pool, you have a controlled environment. In the ocean, you are in a relatively safe or seemingly relatively safe position one moment, and the next you're swept off your feet and you're 50 to 100 yards out to sea and you really don't know what hit you.
Mike says despite his struggle, if it were his own kids, he'd still try to rescue them, which would put his own life at risk. But there is a safer way. Bring a flotation device, which could be as simple as a boogie board. Here's how you could use it.
Far enough away from him so then when you hand him, he's not right on top of you. Safe distance. You say, relax, I'm here to save you.
I try my rescue again. The difference? Staggering.
Having the boogie board was everything. It made it so much easier. I was calmer. It felt like I had distance between me and the person. That distance gave me confidence.
Mike also gives it another go. This time, he makes it out to the brick and all the way back to shore.
It was still tiring, but it was a lot easier.
Because of that extreme fatigue, the United States Life-Saving Association warns against us regular folks attempting a rescue. Instead, first alert a lifeguard and call 911. If the victim is in a rip current, try yelling instructions. Tell them to calm down, float on your back, and swim parallel to shore, out of the current and never against it. If you're close enough to them, throw them something that floats, like that boogie board, a pool noodle, maybe a beach ball, or even a cooler. If all that fails, while it's not recommended, experts say if you do attempt a water rescue, do not go in without a flotation device.
Yeah, I got it.
It made all the difference in this rescue. And it's a lesson this dad won't soon forget.
So I know that I'm never going to the beach without something that floats, that is for sure. And one other tip that I thought was, obviously doesn't come to mind, but should, if you get out there with the flotation device and you and the victim are both holding on and safe, there is no need to rush back to shore. If 911 has been called, a lifeguard is coming, the pros will come to get you. That way you don't exhaust yourself more and you both remain safe. Ginger Zee, ABC News, Seabright, New Jersey.
Rise and shine, El Paso.
Start your day the right way.
When breaking news happens that could impact your day.
Or when the forecast warns of adverse weather.
That may also affect your morning commute.
Good Morning El Paso is here to keep you informed.
Before you step foot out that door, with breaking news, weather, and traffic on the 7s.
And the most current, up-to-the-minute information.
There's only one way to start your day.
The right way.
Good Morning El Paso. Everything you need to get you out the door.
Weekdays starting at 4:30 a.m. only on ABC 7. Start your day off right with what happened overnight, plus live coverage of breaking news and weather and traffic on the 7s.
Good Morning El Paso. The team you know,
the team you trust.
Summer starts here at Subaru of El Paso. For a limited time only, get 0% APR for 72 months on the new 2024 Subaru Outback, or get 3.9% APR for 72 months on the new 2024 Subaru Crosstrek. Plus complimentary maintenance included.
Summer starts here at Subaru El Paso.
Visit us at 1444 Airway Boulevard or shop online at SubaruElPaso.com.
Talk about fireworks. Check out these offers during the 4th of July sale at Denver Mattress. Right now, the more you buy, the more you save. Save $100 on every $1,000 you spend. Save up to $200 on our Doctor's Choice lineup. And check out the Factory Direct Summit. Now only $299.99. Purchase a Tempur-Pedic and get a free $300 gift. Or score 5 years no-interest financing and free shipping. It's the 4th of July sale. On now at Denver Mattress.
No one outworked my dad. As a lineman, he'd go out and battle the wind and the rain to restore the power. I see that same work ethic all across New Mexico. If you're putting in the work, you deserve to have something to show for it. To be able to provide, to save, to get ahead. That's why I'm fighting to raise wages and to lower costs for energy, groceries, and prescription drugs, and to create good-paying manufacturing jobs. I'll never forget who I'm fighting for. I'm Martin Heinrich, and I approve this message.
All right, let's check out the ABC 7 weather deck. Yeah, we have some clouds out there starting to build a little bit. We have been tracking a few isolated showers and storms developing. There's not widespread activity. Most of us going to remain dry tonight, but you know, all it takes is a storm to produce a little outflow, gust of wind, and outflow boundary, and that can kind of initialize other storms in the area. If you look at the numbers today, look at the triples that we have compared to June last year to this year here in the El Paso area. We had 16 triples last June, and we surpassed that so far this year. 18. We're going to see some more coming our way the rest of this week. Rainfall, we're a little bit above what we had last year, 0.07 so far this year, or this June. And if you look at Las Cruces for you had 9 triples last June. You're already up to 12. Rainfall, you had a little bit more last June. You have nothing in the official rain gauge so far this month, although we could add to it over the next several days. If you look at our rainfall model, how much rain potentially we could see, you'll notice that we're going to pick up a little bit. You know, the thing is, you get underneath one of these storms. These are kind of summertime thunderstorms that build up in the heat of the afternoon. Hard to determine exactly where these storms are going to form and develop and drop the rain. But if you get underneath one of them, they're not going to be moving very quickly. The steering winds aren't going to be great, so these things could give you a decent amount of rainfall in a short period of time. You can see our far eastern counties. That's where the bulk of the rain likely to occur, and then some spotty activity across our far western counties, although we can't rule out a few isolated cells here and there all the way through Thursday. Let me give you an update on Elephant Butte Lake. The water supply at 18% full as of today, almost 19% full. A year ago, we were pretty good. We're getting closer to 30% full in the lake. But again, we're drawing water out for the farmers in New Mexico and Texas and Mexico. So everybody's using up that water with all the heat out there. All right, let's talk about your 4th of July. As it looks right now, 100 degrees. Last year we were 103. Las Cruces were forecasting 97 right now. And last year you were at 100 degrees. So here's how it looks overnight tonight. Still about a 20% chance of a shower or thunderstorm. Isolated variety. 82 degrees will be the overnight low. Tomorrow, looking at a high temp of 107. Another scorcher for tomorrow. We'll have that 50% chance of rain. Could be hotter if we didn't have the rain chances as good as what we're dealing with. I mean, if we were about 20%, we might exceed the temperature that we've had today. 76 overnight in Las Cruces, 20% chance of a storm. Your high temp tomorrow will make it up to 105 with that 50% chance of storms. Watch over the next several days, 107. First alert day on Friday as well. We'll cool things down a little bit on Thursday at 101. Then as we make our way into the weekend, another first alert day on Saturday with the heat, 105. And then chance of rain is going to continue each and every day into a good portion of next week as well.